Hi, I'm Maggie Fires, and this is Chapter 24 on Nutrition, Metabolism, and Energy Balance. So first is nutrients, and these are a substance in food that promotes normal growth, maintenance, and repair. These include carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and water. An essential nutrient cannot be synthesized by the body in sufficient quantities, and they must be obtained through the diet. Carbohydrates. They are mainly derived from plants, including starches in grains and vegetables, and sugars in fruits, sugarcane, honey, and milk. Simple carbohydrates include sugars, which provide quick energy, and complex carbohydrates include starches and fiber, and they are often offer sustained energy and digestive benefits. Glucose is the primary carbohydrate, and it fuel used by cells for ATP production, especially important for neurons and red blood cells. Excess glucose is stored as glycogen, or fat, for later use. Soluble fibers, like pectin, reduce cholesterol levels, while insoluble fiber, like cellulose, adds to bulk stool and aids defecation. The most dietary lipids are triglycerides and saturated fats, which are found in meat, dairy, and tropical oils, while unsaturated fats come from nuts, seeds, and vegetable oils. Trans fats are artificially hydrogenated oils, and these increase health risks. Essential fatty acids must be obtained from foods like vegetable oils, and cholesterol is found in egg yolks, meats, and dairy, and serves as a precursor for steroid hormones and vitamin D. The uses and requirements of lipids. Fats cushion organs, and they insulate the body and provide long-term energy storage in adipose tissue. They also help the body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, or K, and they contribute to feelings of fullness. Phospholipids form the basis of cell membranes and myelin sheaths, while cholesterol stabilizes membranes and forms bile salts. Triglycerides are primary energy sources for skeletal muscle and liver cells. Proteins. Complete proteins contain all essential amino acids, and they are found in animal products. Plant sources, like legumes, are incomplete. Protein synthesis requires all essential amino acids and sufficient calories from carbs or fats to avoid using amino acids for energy. Proteins serve structural and functional roles in the body. Nitrogen balance reflects protein turnover. Positive balance during growth repair, and negative balance occurs with stress, starvation, or poor protein intake. Vitamins. These are organic compounds, and they act mostly as coenzymes, enabling vital chemical reactions. Water-soluble vitamins, like B complex or C, are not stored and are excreted in urine. Fat-soluble vitamins, like A, D, E, and K, are stored and can be toxic in excess. These vitamins must be obtained from the diet, and notable exceptions include vitamin D, which is made from the skin, and some B and K vitamins made from the gut bacteria. Vitamins A, C, and E, and selenium function as antioxidants, and they neutralize free radicals. Minerals. Minerals include calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, and magnesium, and they are required in moderate amounts for the body to function. They help build strong bones and teeth, and they play a role in nerve transmission, muscle contraction, and enzyme activation. Iron is one mineral that is essential for hemoglobin, while iodine is necessary for thyroid hormone production. Electrolytes like sodium and chloride maintain fluid balance and help maintain the pH in the body. Anabolism and catabolism, which are two processes of the cell metabolism. Cell metabolisms include anabolic reactions, which build complex molecules from simpler ones, and catabolic reactions, which break down molecules to release energy. Cellular respiration is a catabolic process where energy from nutrient molecules are captured in the form of ATP. Catabolism is associated with oxidation, and anabolism is typically associated with reduction. Two types of reactions that produce ATP is the substrate level phosphorylation and oxidative phosphorylation. Substrate level phosphorylation is where phosphate groups are directly transferred from ADP, while oxidative phosphorylation uses a proton gradient across the mitochondrial membrane. ATP synthesis occurs mainly through oxidative phosphorylation in the mitochondria, and to a lesser extent, it occurs in the substrate level phosphorylation during glycolysis and the citric acid cycle. Oxidative phosphorylation relies on the electron transport chains and chemiosmosis, which is powered by reduced coenzymes such as NADH and FADH2. Electrons from reduced coenzymes pass down a chain of carriers and they release energy to pump protons across the mitochondrial membranes. This results in an electrochemical gradient and it drives protons back into the matrix through ATP synthase. This powers the conversion of ADP to ATP. Carbohydrate metabolism and oxidation of glucose. Carbohydrate metabolism is primarily focused on glucose, which is the body's main cellular fuel. Glucose is first phosphorylated and it traps inside the cell and commits to the metabolism. Glucose is oxidized in 3 stages: glycolysis, the citric acid cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation, each producing ATP. The process converts glucose into CO2 and H2O with energy captured in ATP and reduced coenzymes. Glycolysis occurs in the cytosol and it breaks down 1 glucose into 2 pyruvate molecules. The pathway produces 2 NADH and a net gain of 2 ATP through the substrate level phosphorylation. Under aerobic conditions, pyruvate enters the mitochondria and is converted into acetyl-CoA for the citric acid cycle. However, under anaerobic conditions, pyruvate is reduced to lactate and it allows glycolysis to continue without oxygen. Glycolysis is a reversible and adaptable process and is important in both energy production and biosynthesis. The citric acid cycle is when acetyl-CoA is oxidized to carbon dioxide and energy is transferred to 8 NADH, 2 FADH2, and 2 ADP. The cycle takes place in the mitochondrial matrix and is essential for energy extraction from carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. The reduced coenzymes enter the electron transport chain where they donate electrons. As electrons move through the chain, protons are pumped into the inner membrane space and build the proton gradient. Oxidative phosphorylation then uses this gradient to power ATP synthase and forms most of the ATP. Blood glucose homeostasis. These processes help maintain blood glucose homeostasis during varying nutritional states. Glycogenesis is the formation of glycogen from glucose when ATP and glucose are at high levels. Glycogenolysis is the breakdown of glycogen to glucose when the blood glucose levels fall. And gluconeogenesis is the synthesis of glucose from a non-carbohydrate source, like an amino acid or glycerol, primarily in the liver. Lipolysis and lipogenesis. Lipolysis breaks down triglycerides into glycerol and fatty acids when energy is needed. Lipogenesis occurs when excess glucose and acetyl-CoA are converted into triglycerides for storage in adipose tissue. When carbohydrate supplies are low, ketone bodies are formed in excess acetyl-CoA in the liver. When high levels of ketone bodies can lead to ketosis and metabolic acidosis. The fed state, or absorptive state, is the period after or during eating when nutrients are being digested, absorbed, and distributed throughout the body. Glucose is the primary fuel, and excess nutrients are stored as glycogen or fat. Amino acids are used for protein synthesis, but some are converted to energy or stored as fat. Insulin is the regulator of the fed state, and it promotes glucose uptake and storage. Structural and functional molecules are synthesized during this time.